Now that the heads of states have concluded their closed session,
Your Excellencies, may be upstanding. Your camera yako.
Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Uzalendo pia mshikamano viwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Viwandani na hata mashambani, tufanye kazi sote kwa makini, tujitoe kwa hali na mali, tuijenge jumuiya bora. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Your Excellencies, once again, good afternoon, and I welcome you to this virtual 18th Extraordinary Summit of the EAC Heads of State and Government. And before I call upon the summit we call it to order. According to Rule 11 of Rules of Procedure for the Summit of the Heads of State and Government, the quorum is all partner states representation, and we are certain that all partner states are in attendance. We are all there, so the meeting is indeed called to order. The second agenda item is a constitution of the Bureau. And I call for the Constitution of the Bureau with the Republic of Kenya in the chair and the Republic of Burundi as rapporteur. And indeed, we note that the Bureau is also duly constituted. And I now welcome you to this 18th Virtual Summit of the East African Heads of State and Government. And Your Excellencies, allow me to present my welcoming statement now. But before I do so, Your Excellencies, I would like to request that we all stand for a minute's silence in remembrance of President Magufuli, who was with us at the last summit and who unfortunately has passed on. And I would call on Your Excellencies and all ladies and gentlemen present that we may stand for 1 minute silence in his remembrance. I thank you, Your Excellencies. Your Excellencies, heads of state and government of the East African community, honorable members of the East African Council of Ministers, the Secretary General of the East African community, all our invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First, let me thank each and every one of you for honoring my invitation to this 18th Extraordinary Summit of the East African Community Heads of State and Government at such short notice. We are meeting at a unique time when all of us are faced with yet another variant of the COVID-19, the so-called Omicron variant, which is said to carry a high risk of infection. The variant may explain the infection rate spikes that each of us are now witnessing in our respective countries, across our region, the continent, and the globe. In moments like this, our unity and common purpose is tested, and the temptation may be to look inwards and to seclude. However, when faced with a crisis such as COVID-19, the articles of our common treaty remind us that we are greater together than the sum of our parts. Our greatest strength is without doubt our unity, and when we come together, nothing is truly impossible for us to achieve. We are therefore challenged in this fifth wave of the disease to work much closely together and to align our health protocols. And I'm glad to note that the resolve of the East African Community partner states to work together and put in place well-aligned strategies to fight the pandemic has been emboldened. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude my welcoming remarks by challenging us all to reflect on what has been done and also what ought to be done. Most importantly, as we set our eyes on the third decade of our community, let us collectively ponder on the opportunities uniquely presented by the proposals that necessitated today's session and the continued success of our shared project. I therefore invite this summit to ponder on the progress of the community and reflect on the opportunities ahead for the people of Eastern Africa. With these remarks, I do hereby declare the 18th Extraordinary Summit of the East African Community duly convened and ready for today's business. I thank you. Your Excellencies, I now call for adoption of the agenda and program, and I call for proposals to adopt and second the adoption of the agenda and program. President Museveni, thank you. Seconded by President Samia Hassan. Thank you. The agenda is therefore adopted. I call upon the Secretary General to give us a brief statement. Secretary General, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, President Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya, and Chairperson of the Summit of EAC Heads of State. Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda. Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda. Your Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Excellency Prosper Basombaza, Vice President of the Republic of Burundi, representing Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi. Honorable Deng, Minister of East African Affairs, representing Excellency Salva Kiir, President of the Republic of South Sudan. Chair of the EAC Council of Ministers, Honorable Eden Mohamed, members of the EAC Council of Ministers present, Head of Regional Economic Communities present, members of Diplomatic Corps present, representatives of development partners, the private sector chair who are here present, the head of EAC organs institutions, the Right Honorable Speaker Martin Goga, and the President of the East African Court of Justice, Nestor Kayobera, here present, members of IALA, EAC colleagues, members of the staff, guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed with great humility and honor that Your Excellencies welcome to this extraordinary 18th extraordinary summit of the EAC Heads of State. Let me start by thanking you most profoundly for finding time out of your very busy schedules, in particular to target and focus on a very strategic agenda that aims to strengthen our community. Your Excellencies, since the last meeting, as it was earlier said, we've lost one of the heroic, iconic leaders of the members of the summit, former President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Joseph Pombe Magufuli, and a number of EAC citizens due to factors. May I extend, on behalf of the Secretariat, our condolence to all EAC citizens who lost their loved ones. May their soul rest in peace. I wish to express, Your Excellencies, gratitude for the confidence and trust that you bestowed as the Secretary General of the community. During my first initial days, I started, Your Excellencies, you availed an opportunity for me to engage with Your Excellencies and just speak words of wisdom and some of the expectation you would expect us to proceed. Using your wise counsel, this has been a guiding light as we serve the community. Excellencies, in line with your guidance on the need to take integration to the people, Secretariat has done a few milestone. One, structured engagement with the private sector. So we have started a structured engagement by creating a technical working group with the EAC and private sector associations in different partner states. And this has worked well to resolve and see how to increase the intra-EAC trade. Two, Your Excellencies, improved relations among the EAC organs institutions, the Secretariat, the East African Court of Justice, and the East African Legislative Assembly organ leaders. We have forged a formula of working together so that we try to improve and ensure we achieve the objectives of the community. Your Excellency, on the verification and admission of DRC, following your directive and support from the Council, I'm pleased to report that we have undertaken 7 out of the 10 agreed steps, and now we have made progress. I want to thank Your Excellencies for the support that you have accorded to us. Your Excellencies, on EAC COVID response, travel within the region has been a big challenge for the cross-border traders and EAC citizens due to multiple testing at varying costs. To this, the Secretariat has developed an EAC pass, and the EAC pass will be able to make it easier for citizens to travel, because once you are tested from one partner state, that is able to be reflected in other partner states, and you don't have to keep on retesting. This has already been adopted by the Sectoral Council, the Ministers of Health, and we are preparing to submit to the Council for consideration. Your Excellencies, therefore, we urge the partner states to adopt a coordinated approach in tackling COVID-19 pandemic so that we can recover, our economies can recover. Your Excellencies, on Kiswahili and French as languages of the community, these again, the Council of Ministers held on 29 November, directed Secretary to mobilize resources so that we could implement and integrate Kiswahili and French as official languages of the community. A proposal for simultaneous translation of French and Kiswahili is due in consideration by the next council. On sustainable financing mechanism, Your Excellencies of the community, given the challenges associated with the current model of funding, the EAC budget, the partner states have been working on sustainable financing mechanism in line with your own directive. And I'm happy to report that the Sectoral Council on Finance and Economic Affairs agreed on an hybrid position. And therefore we are waiting for the council to deliberate on this matter and conclude. So we urge the partner states to possibly consider this and adopt an hybrid model at the earliest. Excellencies, we have made progress on others like African Continental Free Trade Area. I'm happy to report that to date, 78%, which is 42 countries of the African Union, have ratified SCFTA, including 5 EAC partner states. And therefore we urge the one that is remaining to conclude on this. And therefore we urge all partner states to ratify SCFTA agreement to fast track commencement of the trading. On the ratification of protocols, Your Excellency, you recall that on the 17th Ordinary Summit, you noted with concern the delays in ratification of protocols. And at the 18th Summit, you directed partner states to ratify and deposit with the Secretary General the instruments of ratification of all the outstanding. I want to report, Your Excellency, some efforts have been done. However, we urge the partner states and with the indigency to ratify, to urge the partners to ratify pending protocols, for example, the sanitary and phytosanitary protocol and the EAC agreement on avoidance of double taxation. On peace and security, Your Excellency, I want to congratulate the Republic of Kenya for chairing the United Nations Security Council high-level open debate on diversity, state building and peace. The region's overriding agenda at the UN Security Council offers ideas and solutions to global peace and security. Your Excellency, building peace in our region will bring those ideas and perspective to the Council, peace and security within and beyond our borders. It is fundamental. Therefore, we look at them and fast track as to support socio-economic development in the region. Your Excellency, thank you very much. I wish you happy holidays and looking forward to a very prosperous 2022. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary General, for that statement. And I now call upon the Chairperson of the Council of Ministers to make his brief statement. Chairman, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, on behalf of my colleagues at the Council, the community is very grateful to you all, Your Excellencies, for the leadership that you continue to give to all of us, especially during this COVID-19 challenge that have not only made it possible for it to be difficult for movement of people in the region, but also trade. Despite this challenge, we have seen significant progress in this particular area of movement of people as well as trade. Your Excellencies, we have also seen strengthening of intra-EAC relations, which have led to resolutions of several non-tariff barriers and the signing of various cooperation agreements that promote economic, social cooperation in different areas, including trade, movement of labor, and management of transboundary resources. Your Excellencies, we continue in the region to enjoy tranquility despite global challenges that include COVID, but also some domestic challenges in some cases like droughts that we have seen in some of our member states. Your Excellencies, I now want to report some of the specific achievements that as a council we want to register in the last 9 months. First of all, reduced trade tensions among member states is something that have enhanced confidence among the business community to trade and invest with one another. Your Excellencies, the majority of partner states have ratified the Africa Continental Free Trade Area within EAC. Your Excellencies, all partner states within EAC have ratified the SPS protocol for EAC. The development of key transnational road corridors within the region has also been on course. This will increase access to productive areas and promote regional economic growth in the region. Your Excellencies, the development of enablers of Lake Victoria water transport, such as the transport-related facilities, water and wastewater treatment facilities, telecommunication technologies, and energy transmission and distribution have also been progressing well. Your Excellencies, Kenya and Southern Sudan and Uganda have waived visa requirements for their citizens during the last 9 months. Our citizens will now be able to trade and move freely within the provisions of the EAC trade rules, regulations, and procedures. On the EAC Monetary Union, the Council has adopted the bills for establishment of the EAC Surveillance, Compliance, and Enforcement Commission and the EAC Financial Services Commission, and have forwarded the same to the East Africa Legislative Assembly for debate and approval. The process of recruiting staff of the EAC organs and institutions commenced in June 2021 and is expected to be concluded in the first quarter of 2022. Your Excellencies, the EAC Council of Ministers allocated $540,000 for national consultation on the political confederation constitution in the Republic of Rwanda and the United Republic of Tanzania. Uganda and Burundi consultations have already happened. In the upcoming activities, Your Excellencies, between now and the next summit, we are working on finalization of consultations on the political confederation constitution. We also now have been tasked by the summit to conclude on the admission of DRC, as has happened this morning. We also are working on the operationalization of the East Africa single tourism visa, also operationalization of the one area telecommunication network is something that is at an advanced stage. Also, Your Excellencies, establishment of the EAC Surveillance, Compliance, and Enforcement Commission and the EAC Financial Services Commission would be on our program to be finished once EALA does its bit. I want to thank you, Your Excellencies, and look forward to sharing more detailed outcomes of our programs and achievements in the next ordinary summit. I submit, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for that statement. And I'll call upon their Excellencies to make their own statements, and I begin by inviting His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni to make his statement.
Your Excellency, the Chairperson, Your Excellency, the heads of state and heads of delegations, I'm very happy. Today, we admitted, we approved the process for the admission of Democratic Republic of Congo into the community. This is because, as I said in the private meeting, in the closed meeting, Congo is really a part of East Africa historically, especially the eastern part of Congo. They speak Swahili. They are similar to our tribes here. And it is colonialism which had kept Congo in another arrangement. But now that Africa got freedom, I'm glad we are sorting out all that, all those distortions. So I'm very happy. The trade is improving within East Africa. And the purpose of integration are really three. Number one, how do you solve the problem of prosperity? Ustawi wa jamii. Prosperity comes from business, production of goods and services. When you produce goods and services, where do you sell them? You sell them within the country, you sell them within the region, you sell them in Africa and internationally. The more buyers you have, the better. So this is the logic. This is the logic of integration. We have no other way if we want to, unless we want to be like Latin America, which live next to the United States, but because of the way they are organized, they are living in misery. And next door, United States is the most powerful country in the world now. And yet it's a young country. It started just yesterday when our kingdoms were here, Kingdom of Buganda, Kingdom of Ankole, Kingdom of Rwanda, Kingdom of Karagwe, Kingdom of Burundi, who are here. Now this new country called United States, because it was founded on new principles, is a superpower, and here we are, where we are. So this generation must solve that distortion. The second point about integration is strategic security. You can see how insecurity doesn't know boundaries, it goes from here to there. If we don't work together, we shall not manage the issue of insecurity. And finally, the people we are integrating are Nindugu. They are similar people. So it is easy for us. It's not like the Europeans who are trying to unite people who are different, speaking different language. Sisi tuko na lugha ya Kiswahili, which is a neutral language. So I'm really very happy, and I thank His Excellency for inviting us and the steps we have taken today. And I'm glad that many of the presidents attended in person. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. And I now give the floor to His Excellency President Paul Kagame to make his statement.
Thank you, Chairperson of the East African Community, His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Honorable Ministers, Senior Officials, Secretary General of the East African Community. Let me once again thank our Chair, President Uhuru Kenyatta, for convening this extraordinary summit. I also wish to note that Rwanda welcomes the progress made with regards to the admission in the East African Community of the Democratic Republic of Congo. We look forward to the prompt conclusion of the remaining admission procedures. Here I want to mention that as the year ends, we all continue to confront the challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic. This threat demands that we work closely together as a region to protect the health of our people and minimize the disruption to our economies. Finally, Chair, deepening regional integration will depend on improving the institutional efficiency and cost effectiveness of the East African community. Rwanda stands ready to play our part in this important task. Once again, I thank all of you and wish you a very happy holiday season and a prosperous new year. Thank you very much.
I thank you, Your Excellency, for that statement. And I now wish to give the floor to our sister, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, to make her statement.
Thank you, Chairperson. President Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya, and the Chairperson of the East African Community, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, members of the EAC Council of Ministers, Dr. Peter Mathuki, the Secretary General of the East African Community, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Mr. Chairperson and my dear brother, this being my maiden meeting as head of state, I would like to express my appreciation to you all for warmly welcoming me to the community and for your unrelenting support during the difficult times when we lost our dear brother, the late Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. I felt your backing in transcending into this position as head of state, as many of you invited me into your countries and others heed my call and visited my country, Tanzania. I'm humbled by your support. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairperson, I wish to take this opportunity to commend you for your continuing efforts to spearhead objectives of the community in strengthening and deepening our integration agenda. According to various assessments on the status of regional economic integration in Africa, EAC is ranked the best performing regional economic community. This shows how strong our community is and how committed the people of East Africa are in furthering the integration, something we should all be proud of. Excellencies, today's meeting is very important as it is going to set a new milestone to our integration. We have considered the verification mission report on readiness of DRC to join the community, and we have given directives which will expedite finalization of the remaining processes. We all know the importance of DRC joining our community, as all partner states have long and close cooperation by either bordering or having trade relationship, which will enhance prosperity of our people and the region. Moreover, DRC is only joining her brothers and sisters. Excellencies, the United Republic of Tanzania continues to believe that our integration process should be rule-based and efforts should be made to ensure that all partner states adheres to the established rules, procedures, and processes. We should also continue to encourage principles of collective bargaining in dealing with the agenda of the outside world, particularly on matters of common interest. And at this point, my dear brothers, I would like to reiterate the commitment of the United Republic of Tanzania in ensuring that together we take our integration to higher levels. Being the host of the headquarters of the community, I'd also like to reassure you of Tanzanian continued commitment to facilitate its smooth operation, considering this summit's theme, deepening integration, widening cooperation. Mr. Chairperson and Excellencies, in conclusion, as we are approaching the end of the year, allow me to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year 2022. Excellencies and my dear brothers, I thank you for your kind attention. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana, Dada. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that statement. And I now wish to give the floor to His Excellency Prosper Bazombanza, Vice President of the Republic of Burundi. You have the floor, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Excellency. Your Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of the Summit of East African Community Heads of State, Your Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Your Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, Your Excellency Salva Kiir, President of the Republic of South Sudan, distinguished Chairperson of the Council and all members of the Council, distinguished Secretary General of the East African Community, Honorable Dr. Peter Matuki. First of all, We wish to thank God who has allowed that such an important 18th extraordinary summit of the East African Community Heads of State takes place today. God be praised in all his might. On behalf of His Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi, and on my own behalf, it is my distinct honor and high privilege to participate in this 18th extraordinary summit of the East African Community Heads of States. And I wish first to extend to your excellencies, the East African Community Heads of State, the most cordial greetings from His Excellency Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi, and those of Burundians to you all and to the people of your respective countries. On this very occasion, I'm sincerely touched by the commitments by your excellencies in the agenda of integration. This is indeed a precious and memorable moment to go through the different EAC projects and programs, and most importantly, give guidance and way forward on critical issues that are strategic and of vital importance to our shared community. I would like to commend the stage reached so far, and at the same time, highlight that more to do is ahead of us in order to reach the objectives of the community and make the peoples of East Africa one people, one destiny of, as the East African Community motto says. Some analysts and experts set the East African community as a model of integration. Therefore, as a community, we are proud of such performance. We need to sustain this image and ensure this is echoed worldwide. In the same vein, we are pleased to note that neighboring countries are applying to join our East African community. This is a convincing testimony that, again, as a community, we are doing well. We need to maintain that direction and sustain the pace to reach higher stage of integration. Your Excellencies, a key task of the summit was to consider the report of the Council of Ministers on admission of the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, into the East African community and take decisions on this important matter. We can take note of the good work done by the verification team in DRC, and that the DRC meets basic criteria for admission of foreign countries to the East African community, as indicated in Section 5 of the verification report. The Republic of Burundi supports the enlargement of the community by integrating other members, more specifically our neighboring country, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Burundi believes indeed that the admission of the DRC to the East African community will strengthen the community and allow the community to position itself strategically. Thus, Burundi has taken due note of the conclusions and observations of the verification team on the application of the Democratic Republic of Congo to join the East African community and pleads for its admission to the community. Therefore, Burundi suggests to your excellencies, the heads of state of the East African Community, to approve the report of the Council of Ministers on the admission of the Republic of Congo to the EAC, and to recommend to the Council of Ministers to undertake negotiations with the Democratic Republic of Congo as soon as possible in accordance with the accession procedures for new members. To this effect, the East African Community projects and programs, whether in political, economic, and social sectors, are vital, and we have to ensure their implementation is critical and instinctive in all EAC partner states. In this regard, we shall stand strong and really move forward as a bloc. We need to recall that our community has been engaged in various notable activities, some of which are worth to be highlighted, especially the operationalization of the single customs territory and common market, the move to establish institutions and implementation of national public finance management programs so as to meet economic requirements towards the utilization of the common East African Community currency in 2024, the launching of the East African Community electronic passport, and the commencement of issuance of that East African e-post since January 2018, and the East African Community Common High Education area, to name but a few. As our ultimate goal as East Africans is to achieve a political federation, it is vital that we constantly strengthen our efforts and stand solid as hawk against terrorism, piracy, and transnational crimes. Our sincere hope is that the transitory phase of confederation, which we are considering to start with, will not stop from ultimately concluding a political federation as it is stipulated in the East African Community Treaty. The Republic of Burundi is committed and will manage no effort to advance any constructive contribution towards peace, stability, and development of her citizens. As of today, peace is a reality in Burundi. The last elections we had concluded promptly demonstrate it well. We call upon our fellow Burundians to come back in their native land, in their homes and families, so as to give their contribution to the building and of their nation, and as well as to the East African community. Finally, we are of the strong view that our being together as East Africans will make it much easier to lift the community to higher stage of integration. Together, we shall make our dreams come true. Together, we can. Long live the East African community. Long live East African Community partner states. Long live international cooperation. May God bless you all. Thank you for kind attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that statement. And I now would like to give the floor to the Honorable Deng, who will give a statement on behalf of His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit. Honorable Deng, you have the floor. Honorable Deng, you are not audible. Honorable Deng, we still can't hear you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya, and the Chairperson of the East African Community Summit, Excellency Yoweri Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Excellency Samuel Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, Excellency Vice President of Burundi, Mr. Prosper, Ministers responsible for East African Community Affairs, Honorable Dr. Peter Mutuku, Secretary General of the East African Secretariat, distinguished delegate guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of my President, President Salva Kiir, I would like to thank His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and all those who are involved in organizing this important summit. I would like to thank all the presidents of these African community partner states for withdrawing visa payment requirements for all East African community citizens. We are all absolutely delighted that all our citizens can now move freely around the region without paying for a visa. Equally important was the recent pronouncement and implementation of visa-free movement among citizens of Kenya, Uganda, and South Sudan. This is in line with the Common Market Protocol for the free movement of people. It is supporting access to education, health, and business, not only for my people in South Sudan, but for the whole region. Your Excellencies, I'd like to appreciate and recognize our collective approach to the global pandemic, the coronavirus. East African communities' cooperation on health was significantly strengthened during the pandemic in the spirit of togetherness. The East African community has developed our regional COVID-19 response plan and measures for protecting our citizens from this dangerous disease. By supplying COVID-19 mobile laboratories and other testing equipment at our borders is a crucial achievement for our people. We appreciate the work done by the experts in the areas of education, East African communities, scholarships, youth exchange programs, and the recent youth summit or youth meeting are some of the ways forward for the integration of our people. I appreciate the recent affirmative action given to the Republic of South Sudan in East African jobs, in the African jobs, in the organs in the organs and institutions of the EAC. I'm particularly pleased that the verification mission for the admission of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and which we are going to, and the movement for commencing formal negotiations for that purpose. The Republic of South Sudan is very much supportive of the admission of the DRC into the East African community. My country is a strong supporter of DRC's membership in the EAC. Such membership will enhance trade, strengthen our regional socio-economic development and cultural ties. Once again, His Excellency, let me thank President Uhuru Kenyatta for convening this summit. We all need to look forward to negotiations that will pave the way of DRC's joining our esteemed community. Thank you, Your Excellency, for listening.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deng. Allow me now to make my short statement. And I begin with Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, honorable members of the East African Community Council of Ministers, the Secretary General of the East African Community, all our invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I once again thank you all, especially you, Your Excellencies, for honoring this invitation to this 18th Extraordinary Summit of the East African Heads of State and Government. Despite the challenges that we continue to face, I am personally encouraged by the fact that our quest for a path of greater solidarity and shared prosperity within the region has continued to deepen. Indeed, it is notable that work is progressing well in the implementation of the 4 pillars of the East African community integration, namely the customs union, the common market, the monetary union, and ultimately the political federation. A key plank of our deliberations today was progressing the aspirations of our brothers and sisters in the Democratic Republic of the Congo to join with us in the East African community. I consider this as a testament of not only the success of the East African community, but also the opportunities that remain untapped. This is also an affirmation of our efforts to deepen integration and widen cooperation, as aptly captioned by the theme of this summit. Today, we also considered the proposal on how to foster the effectiveness of the summit by addressing the quorum rules for the Summit of East African Community Heads of State. The proposal to relook at the quorum rules, I believe, was in recognition of the burden of responsibilities vested on heads of state, which also recognizes the unique role placed on heads of state and government to individually champion the cause of our community. The call today is a reflection of the delicate balance that inspired the architecture of the Treaty on Rules of Quorum, and I look forward to further discussion on this issue at our next ordinary summit in Arusha next year. Your Excellencies, the Treaty for the Establishment of the East African Community also recognizes the pivotal role played by the private sector in the integration process, and I commend the business community for the role it has continued to play in furthering our integration. Moving forward as governments, we commit to facilitate the exploits of our enterprises by improving the business environment in our respective nations, as well as coordinating a more uniform and more conducive intra-Africa, East African community and trade environment. We do this well aware that in the revival of the East African community, our citizens aspire for firstly, a powerful economic bloc capable of negotiating beneficial pacts with the rest of the world using collective bargaining power. Secondly, expanding markets that increasingly continues to create opportunities for trade and investment. Thirdly, an enhanced welfare situation for the people through the improvement of delivery of essential services and the eradication of poverty. And fourthly, an excellent stewardship over the natural and common resources of our region, such as Lake Victoria. And lastly, a community with an environment of peace and security within our community, with our community playing a leading role in conflict prevention, resolution, management in the region, the continent, and globally. Your Excellencies, despite the many achievements of our community, more work still remains to be done. And it is therefore imperative that all stakeholders combine their efforts in overseeing the realization of the objectives of the treaty and furthering the East African dream. As I conclude, Your Excellencies, let me take this opportunity to commend the Council of Ministers for their dedication and the good work that they have done in the furtherance of the integration process. And I further commend the East African community organs and institutions and the entire staff of the community for their commitment to our cause. Finally, I reaffirm the commitment of the summit to the East African community integration process. We are certainly sure that this is an effective vehicle for the economic development and prosperity of the people of East Africa. We therefore continue to prioritize the community agenda at both national and regional levels. I conclude, Your Excellencies, by taking this opportunity to wish each and every one of you, and indeed all the peoples of East Africa, a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2022. Thank you, and God bless you all, and God continue blessing our community. I thank you. I now take this opportunity to ask our Secretary General, and I don't know whether Your Excellencies will agree with me, but in our closed session, the Secretary General has taken us through the communique, whether Your Excellencies will wish for it to be read further or whether we can allow the Secretary General to proceed and release in accordance with what we agreed in our closed session. I don't know whether that will be fine or you would require him to read it again.
No need, President.
We have had it, and we can allow the Secretary General to release it since he has already read it out to us. And
Yes.
then, Secretary General, you can circulate for our signature as you normally do. Secretary General.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. That is noted. I will issue the communique as agreed during the closed session. I thank you.
I therefore, Your Excellencies, with that, we will agree that the Secretary General will follow up on the signing of the communique in accordance with our rule of procedure and circulate to heads of state for their signature. And then say, Your Excellencies, we have come to the end of the 18th Extraordinary Summit. I thank each and every one of you for attending and wish you once again season's greetings and a happy and prosperous new year to all of you, and indeed to all people of East Africa, and God's blessings to you during this particular season. as we continue to urge each other to stay safe despite our pandemic, but to also be people of one region working together to resolve our problems. And I thank you very, very much. And with that, I call the meeting to close, but request the Secretary General for the national anthem as we close. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. We'll be standing for the EAC anthem.
Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Uzalendo pia mshikamano viwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Viwandani na hata mashambani, tufanye kazi sote kwa makini, tujitoe kwa hali na mali, tuijenge jumuiya bora. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.